Hello everyone and welcome to another Akimai Productions movie review. Today I'm going to be talking about Logan. This marks Hugh Jackman's 9th time as Wolverine in a movie. And to be honest, I believe truly it's his best performance yet. As you may or may not know, you actually should know, because Hugh Jackman has been saying this from the beginning ever since the film was announced, this will mark the last time that Hugh Jackman will ever portray Wolverine again. Supposedly, he could always come back, maybe. For the past couple of years, or even I think from the beginning, Hugh Jackman always wanted to do a very different Wolverine to the one we had gotten before in the X-Men franchise. Those movies retain a PG-13 rating, and because of that, the Wolverine character has been sort of limited. In the comic books, Wolverine is very feral. He even has this berserker rage that we saw a little bit of in X2 X-Men United, and even the Wolverine a little bit, but the fact that Deadpool, thank God for Deadpool, the fact that Deadpool worked so well with an R rating, and it had such a box office success, the fact that that happened opened this door for Hugh Jackman to end his run as Wolverine the way he wanted it to, in an actual R-rated movie. Deadpool focuses its R rating on its comedy. It's very violent also, but it's more the comedy they do with it, how they mix it up with it being violent. The Wolverine movie, Logan, they use the R rating in a much smarter way. They use it to make the world that Logan is living in a more gritty and realistic place. Because Logan, his claws are pure metal or adamantium. If he slices someone, the limb is gonna fall off. It's gonna go flying about. And we hadn't really seen that before in another movie. The closest we've gotten is the Weapon X scene in X-Men Apocalypse. So they worked this R rating beautifully in the way they showed the movie and the action scenes. But not just that, the way the characters also express themselves. The F-bomb is dropped quite a couple of times, and it works because it goes with where the characters are at that moment in time. From the beginning of the film, they are showing you where these characters are, and no one's saying it. There is no one giving you an exposition. I can't remember an actual exposition scene where someone's telling you what happened before, or why they are where they are. You see what's happening. You see why they are like that with the little details. So my first point is entertainment. This movie is 100% entertaining. It doesn't mean that it's a roller coaster ride all the way through. The film has so many different aspects. It's not a comic book movie. It's not a superhero movie, I would say. It's a Western film. It's a film about redemption. It's a film about facing the person you have become, the person you were, and the person you can be or will be. This is something that has not been done before with a superhero character. It at no moment it feels like an MCU film. It doesn't even feel like an X-Men film. It doesn't feel like something you've seen before. It's a character movie, and not just Logan's character. The girl, X-23, is so important in this film, and Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier, he's also very, very important. And throughout the movie, these characters and their relations, that's what's important. Not the big action scenes, not the big story, not the X-Men. It's just these people and how they relate to each other, how they connect. You do not have to have seen any of the movies to see their relationship. How Logan and Charles, how they interact in this film is so unique and beautiful. 20th Century Fox is being very smart about this. They're not going the DC route where they're sort of trying to imitate Marvel but darker or grittier. And I thought that was what they were trying to do with Logan when I first heard that it was going to be R-rated. But they went in a completely different direction. Same as they did with Deadpool. They did not go their usual X-Men direction, but they didn't go the MCU direction. They did their own thing. And this is what happens when big studios trust directors, when they trust the writers, and when they trust the actors that certainly know what they're doing. Logan is so different, and I think that's so fascinating. That I think that's why I cannot tear my eyes off of the screen. In entertainment, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Now, as I mentioned before, the story is what's important in this film. And I'm not saying it's a perfect story because I don't think it is. But the story gives you exactly what you need to follow these characters. The story leaves some things up to your imagination or up to you to figure it out. Some questions will pop up and no one will answer them for you. You sort of have to figure it out. And I like this. This means the director and the writer, they trust you. They trust that you will figure this out. For a movie to have certain things and to really touch upon some details that it needs to touch upon, other stuff must be sacrificed. And I am okay that this film sacrificed some stuff. The villains in this film work more as obstacles. And in a character-centric film, it makes sense. You know, in the MCU, they sort of use this, but the MCU does not tend to rely so much on its story to develop its characters. Logan does. That's really my only gripe with the plot, with the story. Otherwise, the film develops beautifully, and the characters, you can see their arcs, and the story of the film takes place in about a week, or maybe like a week, week and a half, or maybe 2 weeks. But you see them grow. You see their relationships grow. All the while, these amazing action sequences and amazing fight sequences and chase sequences, it's so well done that you're not waiting for the next action sequence when you're watching these slow moments. I don't think I've ever seen a film that can be so violent and gruesome, but at the same time, maybe 5 minutes later, it touches you and makes you feel for these characters the way this film does. The story, I think, is amazing. I gotta give major props to whoever wrote this because they knew what was important and they knew they had to sacrifice some stuff to get to what was important in this movie, and that is the characters. It services these characters so well that when you are watching the action scenes, you're not just amazed because they are amazing, you also fear for these characters. You want them to succeed, and you see that it's not easy for them to succeed, but you follow them, and you are emotionally invested in this film. Plot-wise, I have to give this a 9 out of 10. Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman have played these characters for so long, for 17 years, and Hugh Jackman for 9 movies. And still they can give such a raw and beautiful performance, such a moving performance. And again, don't get me wrong, the action scenes are amazing, and you see Logan really tear shit up. You see him go berserker. You see a Logan that I have never seen before, and he's just breathtaking in how amazing and awesome he is. But the character moments, the emotional moments, the rage moments, they are done so beautifully by these A-list actors. They definitely gave it their all, which is why it doesn't surprise me that they really wanted to end their roles with this film. They both felt that this was enough. I truly believe they both should get Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor nominations at the Oscars. I really do think that they deserve those, because I find it very tough to believe that there will be more movies that will knock it out of the running as the year goes by. Daphne Keane as X-23, or Laura, is fantastic. I was so impressed by this girl that could hold her own in scenes with Patrick Stewart, in scenes with Hugh Jackman, and in scenes with them both. And she was definitely one of the most enjoyable parts of this film. She was very funny, she was very tough, and I really loved that character. Performances, 10 out of 10. The film is extremely enticing. I felt so emotionally invested in this film. It was not just because I adore the X-Men franchise so much. It's just that this film was handled so well. They can touch upon these really emotional themes. If a superhero movie can do this, when you have such larger than life characters, when you can really connect with them, I think that's just fantastic. For its emotional aspects, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Now, this film has a lower budget, which is a very smart, very, very, very smart move, because this sort of forces the people working on the film to focus on the story. And these special effects, there are points where you can see through the veil and see where it sort of looks weird, but for the most part, they are done perfectly and seamlessly. However, the cinematography is fantastic. The colors in the film are so great, so I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Now, I'll be honest, I had really high expectations for this film, and that's just me personally, because I love Hugh Jackman. When Deadpool came out and I saw what they did with a lower budget, with an R rating, I was actually very impressed. But I think Deadpool depends a lot on shock value, and I was very afraid that Logan would rely too much on shock value. They really handled it well, and even though my expectations were on a constant roller coaster, when I saw it, I realized that this film is everything I wanted to see, and everything I never thought I really wanted to see in an X-Men movie or in a Wolverine movie. So it did meet my expectations, even my highest expectations. I really think if you like superhero movies, if you like Western movies, if you like sci-fi movies, if you like movies in general, there is no way this film will disappoint you. So I give it a 10 out of 10. This film is definitely rewatchable. I give it a 10 out of 10. I cannot wait to watch this movie again. This film is fantastic. It's amazing. It has so many little details that I know I missed and that I could pick up on. Once the movie ends, you think, I have to go back and analyze this that happened or that happened. It's definitely a very rewatchable film. I cannot wait to see it again. Go watch it. Support the people that made this movie. Support Hugh Jackman. We do not have many actors who would be so loyal to his fans, to this character. We do not have actors like this. Go support this movie. Go support Patrick Stewart. Go support Hugh Jackman. Go support James Mangold, who really... This guy really fought for this movie. He fought for this character. My final rating for this film is a 9.7 out of 10. To be honest, I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm trying to be objective. Still, it's a very high rating. I honestly believe it is the best superhero movie since The Dark Knight. With a 9.7 out of 10 rating, it's a near perfect film. It's fantastic, it's amazing, it's great, it's emotionally stirring, the action is amazing. Don't go watch it with your kids. You will have fun, you will love this movie, and I'll see you next time.